Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it, it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in their thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information, and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to bang my head into a wall, and she's banging her head into the chair in front of her. It's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for, and that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I'm not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. It's the information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're going to talk to a person who I consider to be a master of scale. What am I saying? So many people, they hop from one new idea to the next. They go from one idea to the next, never really gaining traction, always talking about trying to find their passion. But today's guest is a master of scale. Now, I want to give people just a couple examples real quick here. There's a brand I've worked with for a long time called OxyFresh. They have 550 locations. They're absolutely booming. There's another brand I've worked with for years called TipTopCanine.com. I help these guys to go from one location that was stagnant and or stuck and help them open up multiple locations. And Peter, this is what Peter does. Peter has an idea. He says, you know what? I think I'm going to open up a brand called Snap Fitness. But rather than hopping from one idea to the next, he stays on that idea. He focuses on the idea. He works on the idea day after day, year after year, week after week, until it becomes scalable. That's where it's like bumper bowling for business. It's almost to the point where you just set it and forget it. And he's here to tell you how he does it and what his process is. Peter Taunton, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Good to see you. Sorry I missed you last week.
Oh, hey, well, you are a traveling man. How are things going in beautiful Florida there, sir?
You know what? It's good. It's raining right now, so I wish it was sunny and beautiful. But this is our winter, so it's about 65 degrees and rainy today.
65 and rainy. Well, you can't complain. Now, I got to pull this up here real quick here. The brands that you have helped to develop, for anybody out there that doesn't know, you got Nautical Bowls that you're building. You developed Snap Fitness. What are the other brands that you've developed, just so our listeners can kind of Google you to verify you're not a hologram?
So nine rounds is another brand. Fitness on Demand is another brand. So all are, all in the fitness space. My latest one is actually obviously Nautical Bowls, which is something we've been involved with now for about 3 years.
I got to pick your brain on this for a second. So what happens is, and I'm sure you've never had a problem with this as you're growing franchises, is once you nail down what works, people sometimes don't want to do what works because they're always looking for a new idea that might work. And so, and I'll just give you an example. Like if somebody out there wants to open an OxyFresh today, that's a brand I've helped to develop. There's 3 things you have to do every single day if you want to get customers. You've got to clean carpet with a passion and train your people to clean carpet with a passion. So thing one, you've just got to passionately clean carpet with excellence. That's one. You're never done training people how to do it, cleaning the carpet. The second is you have got to gather an objective review from a happy customer every single time. You have to do it. And the third is you got to knock on some doors and you have to drop off discount cards to people in the area to expose them to the solution that we provide. We call that the Dream 100 system. Now, if you look back and you look at the history of the company and you do a search today for carpet cleaning quotes, you're going to find that brand today, as of this morning, has 274,754,000 reviews. And we come up nationally when you type in carpet cleaning quotes. So now we're getting thousands of bookings a day in the call center. And when you look at Snap Fitness, you look at the success that you built and you look at what you're building at Nautical Bowls. Some entrepreneurs think that that's a license to have a new idea every day. Love to get your thoughts on that, of mastering what works.
Look, I think you made an important point that you made, Clay, was the getting the referrals, getting the reviews from your customer base. There's nothing better out there, in my opinion, than validation from your customer. If I'm looking to try someone new for the first time, if I can see what their reviews are, good or bad, obviously if they're positive, that's what we look for. But that first and foremost, the things we talk about. In fact, even in our discussions, talk about how to build a business. Look, you got to get outside your front doors. You got to drum up business. You got to give the guest experience, give them a great experience, and then ask them for a review. When you get those reviews, the reviews sell themselves. People love to hear that other people have had a great experience. And that's honestly, I don't care if you're selling acai bowls. Obviously, we have a great product, but the guest experience is the other side of the equation. You got to show up. You have to have a great product. So when you walk into our stores, you have great energy. Before you ever try our product, you walk in, the music's good, the energy's positive, it feels great. You try the product, that's fantastic. The last intangible piece is the guest experience. You got to make sure that when you're handing the customer the bowl, you look them in the eye, you call them by name. Thanks for coming in. Hope to see you tomorrow. Look, those little intangibles, they're invaluable. And that's the difference between being good and great. Obviously, I always say anyone can be an all-star if you set the bar at your ankles. But if you can get some people to step up and deliver a great guest experience with a great product and a great ambiance, now you're cooking with gas. It's true in anything.
Now, JT, to my right, he joined our team about 3 years ago because Peter, I had a longtime client that he was working for. He was an employee of one of my longtime clients, and he took the high road and asked the employer, hey, can I work for Clay in the mornings before I go work for you? So the business was called scorebasketball.com. And the coach said, his boss called me Coach Calvert, and he said, I really think this would be a great opportunity for JT to work underneath you or to be a part of your team so he could learn how to scale businesses. He's got great energy, great motor, but I think he needs some direction in that. I'd love to get your thoughts, JT, for Peter Taunton, being that this is a guy who's scaled multiple companies, and now you're building, you've got a couple rental properties there, JT. You're also building your own business. What question would you have for Peter Taunton?
Well, my question is, because I think it'll be helpful for everyone, because I see other people struggle with it. Once they have, because first step is you nail it, and then second is you scale it. But once you scale it, how often do you revamp everything? Like, how often do you need to come up with new ideas or new things like that?
You know what? I think that's part of the accountability of a brand. Brands are like sharks. Okay, if you're not moving, you're dead. So in this business, you've always got to be evolving. What does evolution look like? You don't want to evolve just to evolve, but you have to have your eye in the game, know what's happening within the space. So for us, as an example, the economy right now for us in the United States, it's a tough economy. Interest rates are high, inflation's high, consumer discretionary spending. Look, they're holding onto their dollars a little bit tighter. So what are we doing to evolve? Our Nautical Bowls 2.0, it's a smaller footprint. It's a smaller footprint. We don't need as much seating. Why is that important? Why is that relevant to this conversation? Because now the build out cost to open a store, it's about 25 to 30% less money to get into it. And more importantly, the monthly operating costs are about 20 to 30% less per month. Why are we doing that? Because at the end of the day, to grow great brands, the people that get into it, they've got to make money. Okay. And the more money they make, the more franchises you sell. It's pretty simple. The other important part is, even if my footprint is smaller, it doesn't affect the throughput of my business. In other words, a store that's 600 square feet can generate as much volume output as a store that's 1,500 square feet. So those are the things that I look at. When you talk about evolution of a brand, sometimes it's the product, and sometimes it's the business, and sometimes it's both.
Yeah, that's a good question. And then my follow would be, how do you figure out what to change? Because like, if you look at Chick-fil-A, they're not reinventing the sandwich like how they make the sandwich all the time. They have their systems and then they just stick with them. So how do you know, like, you made a switch in the size of the buildings because that makes sense because it takes up less overhead, all of that. But how do you know, how's a good telltale on being able to explain what you need to switch?
Yeah. I think you bring up a great brand when you talk about Chick-fil-A. I mean, Chick-fil-A, that's right. What are they known for? They're known for their chicken sandwiches, right? They're known for their chicken sandwiches. They have great tea. But here's the other thing that they're known for. They're closed Sunday, which is church and family day. Okay. So they, to me, are the front runner within their space. There's a certain cross section of the population that looks at that and says, look, you know what? I love that. I love that old school mentality that, you know what? It's not always about the dollar. Sometimes it's about the people as well. So I think those guys, they have a great product, but they're always, make no mistake about it, they haven't evolved because they haven't had to evolve. They're the front runner within their space. They own that space, bar none. In fact, people aspire to be Chick-fil-A. So I think because they haven't evolved doesn't mean that they're not looking. Yeah. They just have evolved and they've got it dialed in, and they just say, look, I don't need to pivot right now. It's not necessary.
Now, you and I have not colluded offline about these super success tips, but I'm going to go over what I believe to be tips. I almost know without a doubt that you will agree with these principles. And if you don't, I'm ready for the strong rejection, the strong rebuke here. So if you're going to be successful, and again, I've interviewed so many millionaires. Just recently, we've had, Michael Gerber on the show from the E-Myth book series. We've had Robert Kiyosaki on the show. We've had Gino Wickman from Traction on the show. We've had John Maxwell on the show. We had Wolfgang Puck on the show. We just keep, and they all say the same things. So one, everybody that I've met who is successful has a to-do list. I've yet to meet somebody who's successful doesn't write it down in some way. Second, they have a calendar. And in that calendar, they block out time for what matters and they don't block out time for what doesn't. Three, is they are very intentional about surrounding themselves with they're very proactive, I should say, about their environment, like about where they physically are located. This is a big thing for them. Like they're kind of finicky about their environment. They don't want to be in an environment that's depressing, demotivational, not safe, weird. It kind of smells like a swamp. And they're very proactive about their friendships. I just see that they're very intentional about their friendships. And the final thing is they're all about the win-win. And maybe there's more, but I want to break down those with you because it's so important for me and our listeners to hear from you about this. Do you agree with the whole to-do list philosophy, or is that an outlying thing I keep hearing from randos?
No, yeah, I've been doing that since I've been 12 years old. Honestly, and I still do it today. Every day I start with a to-do list and I measure it. I not only have a to-do list, but I prioritize it. So that's what it keeps me on track. And I tell you what, if I go through 3-4 days or I get to the end of the week and I still have things on my to-do list that are still sitting there, I take a step back and I ask myself, how important really is this? Because it's still sitting there. So I reevaluate, reassess.
Powerful.
But everything you're talking about there is, accountability, discipline and accountability. It goes a long way. And without it, I don't believe you can succeed in anything. Discipline and accountability. It's if you think about it, those are some strong words.
Also, one thing I'll point out as a business coach, nobody likes to be disciplined. So I've just found that over years, when I work with a young entrepreneur who's 24, 25 years old, and he's super excited about growing his business, but then he does a no-call, no-show for his big staff meeting, I'm going, no. That's not the pro tip. Or you'll see a big shot entrepreneur who's growing 90 miles an hour, and he'll miss a payroll twice a year. And you're like, you missed a payroll? How do you miss the payroll? Oh, I guess I got caught up, got busy. And his friends will tell him, oh, that's cool. Don't worry about it, man. Everyone makes a mistake. And I'm going, no. I'm not judging you in like a judgmental, like we can't forgive you kind of thing. But I'm saying, if you didn't make payroll this week for your staff, that's a bad look. And that disciplining is not necessarily a fun thing, which is where you have to have a calendar, because you've got a lot of crap going on. I say crap, core, repeatable, actionable processes. You've got a lot of crap going on. You have actually your own yacht. You got a captain on the boat. You got a payroll. You got a team. You got a family. You got multiple locations. You got multiple brands. I'm sure you own multiple pieces of real estate. You got a place in Minnesota, a place in Florida. You got a lot going on. You're a consultant for Forbes. And if you don't make a calendar, it'll fall apart. Can you talk about the importance of having a calendar?
Yeah, look, calendar, there's so much to it. There's so much meat on the bone there about calendar and accountability and discipline. You said that nobody likes to be disciplined, but here's the reality. If you want to soar with the Eagles, the discipline that you're talking about is self-discipline, self-accountability. It's self-imposed. It's not anyone else. If you're going to have people around you holding you accountable because you're lacking things, you're missing payroll. I can't imagine missing payroll. All right. How many lives that would affect, honestly. So to me, if you miss payroll, if that ever happened one time, you've got to take a step back and say, look, I need to dial in. I'm getting sloppy, and I need to reel this in and get and tighten things up. So it's everything.
I love your reaction. It's almost anger about the idea. And yet, JT, because your desk is about 5 feet from mine, you get to hear some of these conversations.
Oh, I do hear some of them. Some of them are wild.
You'll help somebody grow their business from 2 million to 24 million, and they'll go, hey, real quick, what are your pro tips? Like, what do you tell your staff if you miss their payroll? I'm like, you missed their payroll? Well, I was on vacation and I forgot to pay. I'm like, no way. like, do you see him? And I'm going, what? I mean, because again, folks, money's just an amplifier. It just amplifies your personality. Now, step 3, you got to be proactive about your environment. And step 4, you got to be proactive about the people in your life. Now, if we
100%.
look around your office, I'm trying to peer around your camera to kind of look around there, but you got a palm tree that I can see. I think I can see a palm tree out there. And you appear to have a orange chair, and there's some sort of green thing over here. And you have kind of a minimalist decor going on. Are you like in your own, is it like a condo, or is it your own building, or where are you?
This is my pad. I'm in a penthouse here in Miami. So that's my terrace that you see behind me. Over on the right side is my pizza oven, right?
Okay.
So when I'm making pizza, but look, you talk about your environment. Hey, look, this is a very comfortable environment for me, and it's very productive, really. And that's what I look for. I create an environment where I believe I can thrive. Thriving for me means I'm not distracted. Okay, and that's a mouthful there, because if you've got distraction all over the place, then you get sloppy. Okay, you just get sloppy. You get sloppy in the detail. And as I said, if you're going to soar with eagles, it's the details. It's the details that matters. Because if you're missing the details, you're just average. Sorry, it is what it is. You're just average.
You are on fire today. I love what's going on. Now, I felt like in the background, because I can't see because the way the camera is reflecting. Is that the ocean back there? Is that the ocean behind you?
No, the ocean would be there.
The ocean's over there. Okay. But that's a view of something out there. If we look out that terrace, that's a view of something.
Yeah. Hey, look, this is the fruits. This is the fruits of hard work. That's no question about it. My life, I talk about this all the time. Look, I've been blessed probably more than anyone deserves. All good. I don't apologize for success, but I'm a firm believer. Money doesn't make the man. I'm a blue jean t-shirt kind of guy. You'd never know that I'm a wealthy guy by meeting me. I'm not condescending. I'm not over the top about it. I know I've been successful and blessed. It is what it is.
But you're intentional about your decor. Like, there's nothing in your office right now that just randomly drifted in. And I'm going to ask you this question. Feel free to shut me down here. Because there's people that do that. They don't understand this about me. They don't understand this about other people I've interviewed that are very successful. They'll kind of come in the office and they'll move stuff around. Now, last time this happened, JT, this is before I met you. I was at the Riverwalk, and we had a young guy in my office who thought, I'm going to bring in new chairs. Now, everything in my office is intentional.
Yep.
Okay. And I had a beautiful view of the Riverwalk, Peter, but I always kept it shut. And there was a reason why. Because I didn't want people looking at the river all day. I wanted people focused on their job. And then we had like events and we'd open it up. So I come into work one day and the windows are open. They're normally closed. He's rearranged the furniture in a way that would indicate that I want my staff sitting, talking about idleness during the day. And there's supposed to be chairs just for the people in the lobby, customers in the lobby. But he moved it to where my staff would want to sit there. And he opened the windows and I'm going, and I almost looked violently pissed. And at the time, one of my guys, he looks at me and goes, "You look so pissed. What's wrong?" And I'm going, "Did someone change the playlist?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we were doing some updates this morning and we changed the." I go, "What else did you change?" And it was just discombobulating because I am so intentional about the music, and they moved it to a lower beats per minute music. They had adjusted stuff, and I'm like, no. And so we spent like the first 3 hours kind of reorganizing that. And you guys do a great job of that at Nautical Bowls. It's a very intentional environment. I mean, you want people to have a great meal at nauticalbowls.com, but also the actual experience is very important. And I don't think 1 out of 1,000 Americans thinks about it. I see a lot of Americans. I had a guy the other day, Peter, a client of mine, he sells insurance. He's been in his office for months and has never unpacked. And I only know this because a client of mine went over there to buy some crap from him. And he says, that guy hasn't unboxed and he's been in the office for months. This is the guy rolling with Currington,
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of an open discussion in the office of like, and he's just not intentional about his environment. Can you talk about that, about being intentional about your environment and your friendships and what impact that's had on your success?
Look, because you need to control your environment. You control your friends and evaluation, self-reflecting. When you boil things down on how productive you are, there's something that's pulling you away from the material, the big movers in your life, whatever that looks like. And it's different for everyone. So, But for me, if you're once again going back to, if you want to soar with eagles, if you want to be on the A team, you've got to assess everything. Who am I hanging with? What am I doing with my free time? How productive is my business? Does my business, like JT said, does my business need to evolve? All right. Am I getting sloppy? Am I becoming complacent? Look, those are all things that deal with accountability. If you never ask yourself the question, then your whole life is Shangri-La. And sometimes you're looking at things through a rose-colored lens. Look, I think hold yourself accountable, hold yourself to a high standard, and embrace every part of anything in your life that you think attributes to your success. Okay. Now, once again, there's some big sound bites here today, but that's the reality of it, Clay. You know, think back. What is it? What are the big movers? And I don't care if it's your business, your family life, anything that's weak, a weak place in your big wheel of life, any place that's weak, set that aside and dissect it and say, what can I do to make that part of my life better? If it's becoming more intense with your wife, with your girlfriend, whatever it is, you got to look at that and you got to come up with a plan. No different than the plan of how to run your business, how to get better at golf, whatever it is that you're trying to fix, be intentional about it.
Now I'm going to go to JT here for another question here. And before I do that, I just want to tee up this idea. All of this is built upon the idea of having a win-win relationship with the customer. I mean, the products that you sell, whether it be Snap Fitness or Nautical Bowls, you don't apologize for the price. You don't gouge people on the price. You make it a profitable business. And so it's, I call this the 3 Ps, but the people that buy from you, they have to be happy. All right, the people that buy from you. And then you have to make sure there's a profit that makes you happy, so it's worth doing. All right, so you got to have the people who buy from you, they have to be happy. The people that work for you have to be happy, and then the profit has to make you happy. So you got to keep the people happy that buy from you, the people that work for you happy, and you got to make a profit. It's those three kind of competing interests sometimes, and you got to get all those in a win-win relationship. JT, what question would you have for Peter Taunton?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to note, and if you guys disagree, you can throw it back in my face.
Here we go.
When like you have a penthouse in Miami and you have a yacht, and when a lot of the world looks at you, they think you got lucky or that you lucked into it or maybe you had a mentor, and if you didn't have them, you wouldn't have got there or whatever it is. I've always been under the understanding to have what other people have, you have to be willing to do what they did, and not to be confused with what they currently do. So I think I'd love if you could touch on that for a second, because I think that's super important for people to understand that you're not just sitting in your penthouse in Miami or you're always on a yacht. You didn't do those things to get there. You had to do other things that sucked, and you had to lose sleep, and you had to have all of that other stuff going on.
The road rash of success. Look, everyone goes through it. And I grew up poor, youngest of 7 kids. I went to school in a 2-room schoolhouse, quit college. So look, I'm living proof that the American dream is alive and well, but make no mistake about it. Look, I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years. And it hasn't all been kittens, balloons, and butterflies. There's been some road rash along the way. And that part of that road rash, if people are going to be honest with you, that's where the nuggets are. When people want to talk about their success, look, tell me about the hardships, because that's where the gold lies, right? And so for me, everything, my lifestyle that I have today is the fruits of my efforts. But even talk about, golfing, boating. We've talked about a number of things here today. Look, even today, when I could quit doing everything and just focus on those things, focus on leisure, okay, and self-indulgence, I could do that today if I wanted to, but that's not how I roll. I get up every day with purpose. I love doing what I do. I love doing interviews. I love building companies. I love inspiring people. That's what I do. That's what brings me joy, along with other things. So we've talked today about evolving and what lights your fire. All those things are part of this big wheel. We're all very complicated, individuals, and it's all, we've talked about accountability and discipline and all those things. That is all the makeup of who we are. And some people do it really, really well, and others don't. And I will tell you this, the harder you work, the luckier you get. That's the truth of the matter. Hard work. I would tell you that in my life, there's no question that their timing. So when people say, hey, well, you're lucky. Well, look, I don't know if it was luck, but I was fortunate that some of the brands that I created I launched them at the right time where the consumer was ready to embrace it. Okay. When I created Snap Fitness, it was a 24-hour, minimally staffed, it streamed value to the consumer. Okay. The consumer wouldn't have been ready for it maybe 40 years ago, but 25 years ago when I launched it, they were ready for it, which is why I built one of the largest brands in a very, very short period of time. The price was right, the value was there, and that's why it took off like rocket fire, right? So, there's a lot to it, but success comes with hard work and sacrifice, and anyone that tells you otherwise is probably not being truthful with you.
Now, again, for anybody out there, folks, if you want to learn more about how to grow a successful company, one thing that Peter's team does a great job at nauticalbulls.com is they actually mentor you down the proven path. So you first have to buy a franchise, but if you want to learn more to see if it's a good fit for you, you go to nauticalbulls.com, nauticalbulls.com. The brand is absolutely growing. Despite this difficult economy, the business has found a niche as a brand that serves a healthy meal replacement. So it's not a snack. A lot of people view this as more of a need. They actually eat this on a daily basis. So you have to establish your local market, and you could build a very successful Nautical Bulls business by establishing a local community fairly quickly using the Nautical Bulls proven systems. Also, it's a business that doesn't require a lot of employees. So if you're looking for a business that doesn't require a massive staff, you can run a Nautical Bulls with a very minimal staff, just a couple people working on staff at any given time. And to learn more about it, just go to nauticalbulls.com, nauticalbulls.com. And Peter, just so we don't waste any of your time and or the listeners' time, sir, what kind of financial requirement is involved to get involved in a Nautical Bulls franchise?
That's the beautiful part. You need 100,000 cash to get into the business. And if you have 100,000 cash, if you've got a FICO score of 750 or higher, a net worth of 250,000 or more, whether that's you or collectively, two, three people, you want to pool your money together, come to the party with 100,000 cash and a net worth between the two or three of you of 250,000. If you could do that, we can get you into business. All right. To the points that you made earlier, Clay, this is one full-time employee. This is a simple business that's been dummied down. And that's why people get into franchising. You want to get into a business that's that proven success, not that it's not work. Look, I want to set you up to succeed. Look, this, like any business, you gotta work, you gotta lean into it. But when you do that, I can tell you, from one entrepreneur to another, there's nothing more rewarding as an entrepreneur than owning a thriving business. There's nothing better than that, I promise you.
Again, folks, that website is nauticalbulls.com. Peter Taunton, thank you for your time today, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
You're the best. Take care, Clay.
Take care. Bye.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it, it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely... It's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to bang my head into a wall, and she's banging her head into the chair in front of her. It's good information, but we're oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. As you can see, it's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Oh, look at this cute baby. What a great baby. Quality baby. That's a healthy baby. Okay. Thrive Nation, on today's show, I'm very excited for you to hear this success story about this wonderful couple that, Sean, I would describe them as they are killing the game in the most nonviolent way possible. They're killing the game.
Yeah.
In the most nonviolent way possible. They are blowing up in a good way. Folks, I'm telling you, these folks are really growing their business, and what makes them great is they're really kind, hardworking, diligent people, and we're honored to serve them. We've got Jenny and Mike here joining us. Jenny and Mike, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you two?
Hi, thank you. Good. We're doing well.
Okay, now I'll start with you, Jenny, because frankly, Sean likes you more. No, I'm just kidding. So let's start with you. So how did you first discover us in the business coaching that we provide?
So I was listening to different podcasts about business. I was starting up our business. And so you were the first one to pop up on our podcast on Apple. I think Apple is what I was on. And so I started listening to you. I got on your website, and I was just a little girl starting a business. And I said, I'm going to ask this guy to be my coach. And I don't think I'm going to get a shot, but sure enough, within a week, you called me.
Now, who is this cute child here? But Micah, who is this cute kid here?
It's Lennon Rose. She is about to be 10 months old.
I hate to do this to you, but can you kind of hold up the baby to the camera a little bit? This is probably, oh, look at this cute baby. What a great baby. Quality baby. That's a healthy baby. Okay. So Mike, can you tell us what's the name of your website there? I think people want to look you up and verify you're real people that don't just happen to have a cute baby.
Yeah. Our website is newconcept.healthcare.
Newconcept.healthcare. So newconcept.healthcare. I'm going to pull it up right now, folks, so we can all verify that they're not just a couple who's taking advantage of the cute baby they have to get a podcast here. This is a real couple. Okay, so I'm pulling it up here. So this is the website. It's newconcept.healthcare. And can you tell our listeners what services do you guys provide at newconcept.healthcare?
So we offer more functional medicine. So we offer IV therapies. We offer hormone replacement therapies. We also do acute care. We do pretty much everything, but we're very much alternative. So we believe in medical freedom. And that's what we offer.
And you guys, you reached out. Do you remember that initial consultation there? Do you remember, Mike, that initial consultation? Do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, it was actually pretty overwhelming that we were starting this business with absolutely nothing, and we had the opportunity to work with Five Time Chef.
Well, the one thing I always try to do is, my father, great guy, may he rest in peace. He worked his tail off like so many people do, and there was no real economic result that was achieved from it. There wasn't any, he had the college degree. He's working 2 jobs. I remember he's late 30s. He's working at Domino's, delivering pizzas, working at Quick Trip. He worked at furniture stores. And I always try to look at every new client we have as though I'm talking to my dad, because like, what would my dad, what could he have learned at the age of 37 that could have changed the financial trajectory of his life? And I try to look at it that way. And so you guys, I paired you up with Sean. You've been working with Sean, I believe, Sean, since October of 2020. Is that correct, Sean?
I think that's when they started their business. It wasn't until about April of 2021 when we actually got going.
So April of 2021. And at that point, from that point to now, Sean, how much of growth have you guys achieved from 2021 to now? Do you know that number?
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at 2023 revenues were 821,000, and they're in October of 2020. Like they only had a few months, but they made about 95,000 by the end of 2020, and then we grew significantly that first year to about 375% to 588,000, and we continued to grow there ever since, all the way up to where we're getting close to the $1 million mark at this point here, just like 3 years in.
Jenny, how would you describe the growth? Would you say you've doubled? Are you 5 times larger? How would you describe that?
Oh no, I definitely feel the growth. There's been some growing pains, and you guys have helped us through that too. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing to help people, because that's what I'm passionate about. And you guys have really helped us expand and tell people what we're about.
So step one here, we do this with all the clients. I'm going to walk people through the steps. We really needed to nail down your branding, and that's a big thing, because branding is to humans what clothing is. So as an example, you wake up today, folks, if you run around and you're streaking through life, you're probably not going to get a lot of conversations started. So we all have to be intentional about, what are we going to wear? Are we going to wear a tie? Are we going to wear a polo? Are we going to do makeup? Are we not? So people, they judge us based on our appearance. And so we really had to get a website built. We had to optimize the online brand. Jenny, we do it all included for our clients, so we don't refer you to another vendor. We do it all. Can you talk about the impact that has made on the business?
Oh, for sure. Just the website itself, it looks so great. We would have never been able to make it look that great. The way y'all optimize everything and keep us, with Google, just where people search us, and that we're the first people that come up. And that's actually how we've established our business and started offering some of the things that we offer, is because of the tags that we have. I didn't originally start off as doing IV therapy, but due to people Googling, healthcare functional medicine, I had 3 phone calls in a week that said, "Hey, do you offer IV therapy?" And it was very interesting. And I was like, well, no, but I can. And so it was because of you guys that kind of snowballed and took effect. So yeah, there's a lot that you guys have done for us.
Now, Sean, when working with these wonderful clients here, I'll pick on Mike here. You always say great things about Mike and Jenny. What makes them good to work with? Because I want to make sure for anybody out there, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, I consistently offer a free 13-point assessment. I've been doing that since 2005. I do it without reservation. There's no obligation, but there's usually about 1 to 2 knuckleheads a week that will fill out the form, and probably 20 really great people that fill out the form. And then we only take on 160 clients. And so I don't want anyone to waste their time. What makes Mike so great to work with?
Well, Clay, I mean, when I first started coaching, you taught me about these 2 types of business owners. There's the happy hopers out there, and then there's the diligent doers. And I think these guys are a great example of the diligent doer. They continually apply effort to work on their business, not just in their business. They consistently show up to their meetings. They track all of the critical numbers of their business, and they're aware of what's going on with all of their employees. They're paying attention to all the little things going on. They're keeping all the plates spinning, and they ask great questions they actually really do make a great effort consistently to apply our systems and help their business grow. And it's been working.
So step one, we get the branding nailed down. That's the website, the print pieces, the logos, the business cards. But then you have to develop that online reputation. Now that can be a tough thing to do, Jenny. And I'll just, I'm not, this isn't a backhanded compliment. I'm just saying, but for people that are humble and very kind, of which I would put Jenny in that category, sometimes asking for reviews is more difficult because you almost feel like you're self-promoting. I've never had this conversation with you, but when has that been difficult for you to ask people to give you video reviews and Google reviews after you provided the service, or was that easy for you to do?
It's not easy. It still isn't easy.
Okay.
It is. It's difficult because you feel like you're begging for something, even though you know you did the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me. It's just my personality type, but we get it done anyways.
I'll find this for the diligent, kind customers we work with. It's very difficult sometimes to ask for those objective reviews from real customers. And I find that from my clients I've worked with that are sort of like self-described barbarians. I had a guy years ago I worked with. I won't mention his name or his industry, but I'll just say he's obsessed with physical fitness. And he told me, he says, I'm kind of a business barbarian. You tell me what to do and I will slay the dragons. And I'm like, okay, you need to get Google reviews from everybody you've ever, worked with. And he's like, oh, I'm on it. And this guy's just shamelessly calling through his phone and just lighting people up going, give me a review. Come on, give me a review. Why will you not give me it? I'm like, go ahead, dial it down a little bit. So again, you guys are humble, diligent doers. You're the ideal person here. So I appreciate you sharing that. The next thing we had to do is we had to create a no-brainer. Now, a no-brainer is an offer so good, so amazing that people simply cannot say no to it. Now, I won't mention the name of the company, but I worked years ago and I still work with this company. They're a medical company. They're doing well now. And for whatever reason, they put on their website, first initial consult, $497. And he went to one of these like borderline spiritual motivational conference things where Jesus isn't described, but they did kind of talk about metaphysical alignment and getting your woo-saw, getting in your groove, alignment, no friction. and he came back and he's like, Clay, I believe in the 7th number of completion. I go, I agree. He says 4 is the number that's urgent. I'm like, okay. And I go, what? And he's like, I don't want tire kickers. So I'm going to do $497 for my first consult. That way I don't deal with the tire kickers. And I'm like, Doc, I love you so much. You're a doctor. I love it. You don't have any customers though. That's why you came to me. You don't have any customers. So why don't you do a first free consult? He's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to kick out Sean, the tire kicker. So I'm sure you've never seen this with a client.
Oh, never.
And so now what makes it worse is his wife also went to the Metaphysical Alignment Motivational Jackassery Festival. And she was like, 497 is the number. I had a dream about it. I'm like, yeah, because you probably talked about it all weekend. You probably are subconsciously thinking about it. You're creating a neural pathway related to 497. And so anyway, after about a year, he finally says, okay, I came to your conference and I saw a person that did the first consult for $1. I'm going to go with that. And now his business is blowing up. Could you talk about your no-brainer, your first consult for $1? How has that helped you having that no-brainer offer?
Yeah, so it gets people in. And so when we get people in, we know that we're doing a good job and we know that we're trustworthy and our healthcare is superior to most. So just getting people in for that $1, because a lot of people are, they're nervous about going to the doctor or they don't trust healthcare system. And so they know that they can come in, they're only going to spend $1. They can figure out whether or not they trust us, figure out whether or not we're the place for them. And we know 100% of the time we will be. So it's really helped us just get people in and get people to trust us more.
Now, once somebody fills out the form, folks, again, there's a linear pathway here. I'm trying to give you a visual here. So you establish your revenue goals. You figure out your numbers to break even. You figure out how many hours a week you're willing to work. Even though you have a cute baby, you got to figure out how you're going to get it done. And step number 4 is you define your unique value proposition. What makes you unique? That's something you and Sean have worked on together. You improve your branding. Now you're coming in contact with humans. Business is a contact sport. I love this part. That's when you start marketing. You launch your marketing. You have your online ads. You optimize your website. You begin to come up top in the search results. You start to get leads. Do you remember what it was like, Jenny, when you first got your first online lead? Do you remember the first one where you're like, it's working? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, it was almost like we did celebrate because it finally had happened. And then as soon as the first one came in, the second one came in. And like I said, it was almost a growing pain experience. We had so many leads so fast. So it was great. And we still celebrate every lead that we get.
Now, Mike, the next step is you have to make sales scripts. We recommend to every client that the calls are recorded for quality assurance. You have a sales script. The calls are recorded for quality assurance. You have a one sheet that tracks your pricing. You have pre-written emails. You begin tracking. Sean's always bragging about you guys with tracking. Mike, how has it helped to have tracking in place where you can see, how does that help you?
Well, it's really a good benefit because, at the end of the week, you know what your income was, you know what your leads was. So wherever we're lacking in, we can quickly adjust and make that adjustment to make it work for the next week.
Now, if you don't have tracking, folks, this is a true story. It's kind of a sad story, so I'll speak in generality. Sean, I talked to a guy the other day. This is a terrible story. Longtime client, and he got motivated. He set up a trade show. He didn't tell me he's doing that. It's fine. You don't have to tell me, but he set up a trade show. I think he was going to try to surprise me with the fruit of the trade show. So he set up the trade show, and he gets on the call. His energy's kind of off, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, dude, fine." What's wrong?" I don't know. I'm like, "Your lead sheet, we're getting, 10 to 15 leads a week. It's very consistent. Revenue looks good." He's like, "Yeah, I'm in a tight spot." "Well, you're in a tight spot. Why are you in a tight spot?" He says, "I did a trade show." "You did a trade show?" "Yeah, I got roped into 4. I did a thing where you get the billboard, you get the trade show, you get the magazine ad. And I did the trade show and we got no leads." And I go, "What kind of trade show did you do?" And he says, "Well, I went to the whatever trade show." And Sean, what I find is that there's the emotional excitement about being on the billboard, being on the magazine cover, and he got called by one of these kind of I call it a scamockery or jackassery.
Yeah.
They call you and they go, boop, 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 boop. "Hey, is this Sean?"
Yeah, this is Sean.
"Sean, yeah, we noticed that you have an incredible healthcare company, and we want to honor you by giving you the yada yada of the region award. It's the yada yada. It's a regional, it's a prestigious award. We'd like to meet with you. Can we meet with you?"
Yeah.
So now I meet here. Now, Sean, again, we're on the phone, but I still like the phone voice here. So now Sean, so because we're so honored, we're inviting you to a plated dinner to honor your honoredness, your greatness, your humbleness. And it's going to be $1,000 a plate, for you and your wife. And did you want 4 seats or 8? Because most people do 8.
Oh, I guess just 4.
4, and that does include a glossy magazine feature in we'll just call it like Missouri local top doctor jackassery. It's a great magazine.
Oh.
And you're also you'll be on a billboard. We've teamed up with the billboard. It rotates through. You're going to see her face.
Wow.
Hey, don't get too excited. And just because we're honored, we're not, again, we're just honored. Now, did you want to do the 4 tickets, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the way it works is it's going to be 4 payments of $4,000 for a total of $16,000. And no, I'm serious. And now they're in the trade shows, and he's going to the trade show, and there ain't nobody there. There is nobody there. To be technical, nobody was at this trade show. I mean, everybody was not at the trade show. No, he's got photos of like him and his wife and his team in an empty booth, and he's got a magazine and no leads are coming. And he was so excited to tell me. I'm sure you've never encountered this sort of thing, Virginia. Have you, Jenny, have you ever seen a situation where that sort of shamockery advertising has been entered into your world in some capacity?
I've been there. I've been exactly what you're talking about. And I've set up everything and paid employees. And I felt like I was nothing more than a free pin show. The only people that were there were people looking for free pins.
Oh, I know. And it feels terrible. And then you kind of have to sell it to yourself all day. But, guys, we're getting our name out there. Sean, can you pass the megaphone back there? Right behind you. Yeah, because I tell people, if you want to get your name out there, what you do is you just run outside and say, "All right, come visit New Concept Healthcare." And people go, "Why are you yelling at me? I'm trying to shop for my groceries." "New Concept Healthcare." Get my name out there. Getting my name. Like, is this effective? Of course it's effective. I'm getting my name out there. And then that leads to buying frisbees, branded frisbees,
Right.
koozies. You know what I'm saying? Branded pins.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you buy these things. Sean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have to do, and I'm going to show you. This is kind of the back end of one of my companies called Elephant in the Room. And you do a search for eitrlounge.com. And then you go to /staff. I'm not going to give you the password, folks, but you log in. And these are all the systems needed to run the haircut chain. Now, one thing I thought was very interesting is Truth Social, President Trump's social media platform. The other day they were disclosing, Newsweek was disclosing the revenue of it.
Oh,
And I just want people to know this because I think, and just full disclosure, I'm a very conservative person, but I just want people to see this. This is just something to look at. Truth Social, they declared in their filing that they did $3.3 million of revenue and had $49 million of losses, which, by the way, that's very normal for a tech startup company. And their users are going up. And they're having there's like a reaction in the marketplace. People are actually putting more money in. They're investing. The stock price is going up. But I don't know anybody that I've met in my life. But I've never been a client that can afford to bring in 3.3 million and lose 49 million. You know, so like for my haircut chain, we have 5 locations. We bring in more than 3.3 million, and this just in, we don't spend 49 million. You know, so we have to. We call it a lean startup. You got to keep that thing lean. And so when you go to eitrlounge.com/staff, every document needed to manage the business is here. So the opening checklist for the manager, you click here, boom. This is what the manager has to do to start the day. Everything is documented, and that's kind of where we're at right now. With Jenny and Mike's business. We're in the process of building all those checklists.
Yeah.
Sean, what kind of checklists have you built so far?
Oh man, we have a whole page. Their staff page is pretty built out. We're really getting there. I think more right now it's getting, correct me if I'm wrong, we need some managers in there so we can free you guys up from the business. And so we have a lot of the worker level systems. We're just now working on more of how do we get those manager level systems and find those high quality managers.
Now let me give Jenny a little mentor moment here. This will be helpful for you. I'm going to hop on a flight in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to go to Denver. All right. And I got to go to Denver to meet with the founder of oxyfresh.com. This is a brand we've worked with and helped them to grow to 550 locations now. 550 locations. Okay. And if you type in carpet cleaning quotes, we're the world's highest rated and most reviewed company in the world. Okay. 274,000 reviews. We've been holding this idea in our mind for 15 consecutive years. I've been working on this, Sean, before I met you. We just were grinding, okay?
Yeah. And
the biggest challenge that the locations have is managers, finding a good manager. And I tell people this, and it never goes over well, but hopefully eventually it will. I'll keep refining the idea. The kind of person that enjoys conflict, but also likes people, is a good manager. Let me try that again. The kind of person that enjoys conflict, but also likes people is a good manager. And I have found it's not so much trainable as it's findable.
Yeah.
So as an example, where we're getting ready to head out to Denver, Sean, you know my personality type, and you know that I have to pack all this stuff to get ready to go. You saw my suitcase out there.
Yep.
How many times do you think I've followed up with the people involved in the trip so far before leaving?
Oh man, it's probably on your to-do list and you've checked it off like probably at least 5 times today, I would think.
And what kind of things do you think I might have put on my checklist to travel to Denver?
First off, just making sure that the timing is working, making sure that you have all the stuff that you need, making sure that you have double of the stuff that you need in case something gets broken. Making sure that the people who are there know you're coming and when you're going to be there and
keep going.
Expect from
what do you think I'm checking a bag?
Oh yeah, you're probably not checking a bag.
There it
would
is.
Get lost.
All
no.
right.
No.
And you think I'm catching a flight a lot earlier than I need to be there?
Way earlier.
Yeah, if I'm having a meeting tomorrow, which I am, I'm leaving today at 12:30.
Yeah.
So this is, but that's the sort of paranoia that makes management possible. So I have literally called. I said, "All right, I'm getting on the 12:30 flight. We're meeting tomorrow. I should be in by like 4 o'clock Denver time. Our meeting's tomorrow. If that flight gets delayed and the next one gets delayed and the next one, I'll still be there. I've got backup phone chargers. I have a rule. Everybody going with me. You cannot check a bag. I want to check a bag. Can't check a bag. Why? Because it could get lost. This is real. I'm not. I am completely paranoid, and that is the paranoia is what makes the businesses run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ask my staff every day, guys, elephant in the room. Did you guys get a review? And they say, well, yeah, we got a review. You asked me 10 minutes ago. Okay, well, I'll talk to you in 4 minutes. You hear me say that? I'll say, I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. And it's a follow-up because I have to make sure that the checklists are being followed, the reviews are being followed. We're a licensed business. People don't know that. Hair care, you're licensed by the state. So we have certain cleanliness standards. We could have random people from the state show up. So we got checklists. And I follow up, and it doesn't bother me to follow up with the same adult who's in their 40s 6 times within a 50-minute span of time. It doesn't bother me. But most people, that bothers them.
Yeah.
And so have you found that, Jenny, that a lot of people don't like to follow up? Have you found that, or is that just something unique to me?
I've found that they don't like to follow up. No, people don't like to follow up. It's almost like an awkward communication thing
Isn't it?
that people will try to avoid. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that you're being mean or any type of way, but I feel like that's probably the way that we feel when we continuously follow up, like we're having to step on people's toes, but really we're not. We're just getting the job
My
done.
mentorship moment for you is it's probably the same feeling you have when you ask for reviews.
Yeah.
It's probably the same. So,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, and if you, Mike, did you ever play football or a sport of some kind?
Yeah, I used to play soccer.
Okay, soccer. So, like when you, what position did you play?
Goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper. Okay. So this is a great example. I didn't know you were a goalkeeper, but when you're a goalkeeper and someone's kicking that ball at you fast, I mean, just the ball's coming in there. I mean, people can really kick a soccer ball fast.
Yeah.
There are certain people that want to be a goalkeeper, but they kind of avoid the ball. They try to hide from it. They flinch. You know what I'm talking about? But
Yeah.
you actually would lunge into it. Am I correct?
Right.
I mean, you're aggressive, right? I mean, you're like, for some reason you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I enjoy getting 100 miles an hour fastball.
But did you ever see somebody who tried to be a goalie? I'm not looking for a name here, but somebody who would kind of hide from the ball.
Yeah.
This is the same thing for management. Like as a manager, you have to sort of seek out conflict, but like people. So I'll say things like, okay, hey, it's 8:00. I need to make sure you put out the flags in front of the elephant in the room store today, Mr. Manager. Put out the flags that draw the attention by the road. Put out the flags. And I'm going to call you in 10 minutes to follow up. Call them in 10 minutes. Are the flags up? Can you send me a picture? They're like, do you not trust me? Absolutely not. I trust nobody. Go ahead and send them. And then I'll call them back 30 minutes later. Hey, did you get Google reviews? Yeah, we got one Google review. You know, the quote is 10. Yeah, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. You know, call them back. Hey, did you get a review? It's been 2 minutes. I know. Oh, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll call you back in an hour. And my whole day is just following up. And then over time, the culture happens where people go, he's going to follow up. And now the people that like the follow-up like to work there, and it's become a great thing. And that's where we're kind of at right now, I think, is we're getting into the follow-up phase. Do you have call recording in place there, Mike? Do you have the call recording for quality assurance installed yet?
Yes, we do.
And are you learning some things?
Yes. It is very hard to train people on recording scripts.
Yeah. Okay, that's something we got to do. Now we're just going through the workflow. And then the wowing the customers. What Sean is saying is that your patients are consistently wowed. Now, I don't know if that's because Sean is your hype man or if that's a real thing, but it seems like people are actually wowing. They're being wowed right now. People, when they come in, if you look at the workflow, they buy something right here, we have to wow them. You've got to create that wow moment. And again, if you want to download this diagram, folks, just go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. You can download it from my newest book called A Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You got to create that wow moment. I mean, amidst the checklists and the tracking, at some point here, you've got to create a moment that wows people where they go, wow. So I'm trying to get everybody's creative juices flowing here. So if you have a restaurant, I work with a restaurant in Florida right now, a great restaurant. They say, welcome in. Is it your first time? They say, yeah, it's my first time. Oh, well, hey, you get free appetizers on us today and one free adult beverage. Welcome in. And that every time it's that, wow. And then when you come back later and ask for a review or, hey, what entree do you want? Guess what? People become generous with how they buy. Another example, I work with an auto auction. The auto auction says your first time that you buy from the auto auction, you only have to pay $1 more than the actual cost of the vehicle, just to wow people, to get that going. I happen to work with a carpet cleaning business. And what they do is they say, hey, the first time we clean your carpet, we'll beat any competitor's price, and it will be at least half off of our normal price. And they go, okay, great. You got to have that wow moment. What are you guys doing, Jenny, to wow your customers there?
Well, there are things that we do. We will oftentimes like give samples of certain things because we know they work. We have a lot of supplement sales that we do. Again, the dollar consult is a wow moment because we will spend some, 10 to 15 minutes explaining how we're different. And I feel like they're wowed because of that. Also, our services are so much different. We spend time in the room with our patients. We listen to them. They're not just a number. And a lot of times people have never experienced that. So there's a lot of wow moments, I think, for all of our patients.
Now, I understand that 59% of your customers are now from word of mouth. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, well, and with the customer acquisitions cost too, I've heard you say this before, Clay, that if you're advertising and you're doing a good job wowing at the same time, they compound each other, and you'll end up having 2 to 3 word of mouth referrals from those patients that are wowed for every one lead you have from advertising. We measured and tracked that they had this last year, for every dollar they spent on advertising, they were able to bring back in $4.61. So that's a 461% return on their marketing investment.
It's incredible stuff. And the great news is, as we build these systems, if you guys ever wanted to franchise or license or open up multiple locations, if done properly, you should be able to scale it. It should be very repeatable, very duplicatable. Other things you guys have done, you've implemented a database to keep track of your customers. You're gathering objective video reviews. You guys are really checking all the boxes. I'd like for you, if you can, Jenny, here, to give a word of encouragement for any of our listeners out there that are a little bit on the fence right now, and they're going, I have thought about scheduling a free consultation, but I don't know. I hear it's $1,700 a month, and can you maybe explain your thoughts, what you would say to anybody who's a friend of yours or family that asks you about the value about the business consulting?
Oh, well, I would say that the $1,700 a month is an excuse not to have someone to mentor you. It's kind of like being in a gym when you need a trainer. We're not always perfect, and business owning is not easy, and you need a mentor. I've never missed the $1,700 a month, even when I was only 6 months in when we started with you guys. I've never even considered it a loss. It was scary at first to make that, but that wasn't an excuse. I knew I needed someone to guide me through this, and you guys have guided us through this, through the entire thing, through employees, through income, through spending, through all of it. And we come through so many problems. There are a lot of problems that are established when you have a business. I mean, you become very overwhelmed very fast, and you need somebody that you can call who's successful, who's been there, that says, you're not crazy. This happens to all of us. Here's what you do about it. It's been the best decision that we've made.
Final question I have here for you, as far as having like a one-stop shop. Years ago, I hired a business consultant who was great. And he would say things like, and I'm not ripping him, I'm just telling you what would happen. He would say, Clay, you got to work on your business and not in it. I'm going, that's true. He goes, you got to delegate to elevate. That's true. Clay, your website is not optimized. And I'm going, this is great. Fresh perspective. I go, Bruce, could you help me optimize? No, I don't optimize. Could you help me work on it? No. Could you help me make a checklist? No. Do you help me with the print pieces that I need to make? No. Can you make a video? No. Do you help me with my online ads? No. Clay, and he was kind of he's an Northeastern American guy. And he used to say, Clay, baby, let me tell you what. I don't make print pieces. What am I, a print piece guy? I'm not a web guy. We know what I am. I'm a work on the business guy. You got to find a good web guy. So every meeting we would have would result in me having to find another vendor to pay another $8,000 to build the website, $4,000 to make the video, $5,000 to do. So every time he would give a recommendation, it would lead to another cost. Can you maybe explain the value of having a flat monthly fee?
Yeah, I don't have to ever worry about it. Like, I know if I need the website updated, it's a text away. I know if I'm having trouble with an employee, it's a text away. I know if I need financial advice, it's a text away. And again, we meet every single week, and all our questions are answered, and we're held accountable to what we need to be held accountable for. So it really works for us.
Jenny and Mike, thank you guys for your time so much. I really do value your time. I appreciate you guys being here today. And on part 2 of today's show, we're going to tee up another success story, because we want people to know it is possible, despite the financial jackassery plaguing our nation right now. It is possible to become successful, and you guys are a living example of it. Thank you guys for bringing your baby on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, Sean, so we got 3 people in a very small space here in the studio. Sean, introduce us to today's guest there, sir.
Okay, so this is Kendra Sapansky, and it's quite a last name, folks.
Yeah.
And
you play hockey?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a hockey name for sure. So we were going over some of the stats before, and she owns an eyelash extension salon.
What's the web address where I can go pull it up here if I want to look at it?
It is there's 2.
Which one are we going to?
She has the Extensionist, which is THE.
Yep.
And then Extensionist.
Tensionist.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
That's right.
Got
There
it.
we are.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So what are the services, Kendra, that you all provide here?
Mainly just eyelash extensions.
Eyelash extensions.
We do other stuff, but that's been the main thing for years. And then we started adding things like permanent makeup, brow stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have we worked with you? How long have we had the opportunity to work with you?
Since 2019.
So tell us, what kind of growth have you had from 2019 versus now we're in 2022?
So 2019, it was 880.
Yeah, it was like 880,000 is what the tax return said.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. And then what'd you get to this year or 2021, I guess?
2021.
It was like 900.
1.4
Oh,
million,
1.4. Yeah.
1.4. Okay. And when we work with a lot of clients, a lot of clients, if you're out there listening today, what we want to do is we want to help you grow your company. And so I want to walk you through the process of how to grow a company, because a lot of people watching go, I want to grow my company. It's kind of a big, vague idea, but I want to dial into the specifics of what we've had to do to grow the business and what we're doing moving forward here. So first off, when we started working with you, you've always had a product that people love. I mean, is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
People love it, I think. So what we've had to do is build the online reputation so that people that don't know about your business, who haven't been in the business, they can hear about it before they can go online and build an online opinion about your business before they come in.
Right.
How have you been doing on gathering objective Google reviews? Has that been something you guys have been hammering on there, Kendra? How have you been doing on that?
Every stinking week, she hits the key performance indicator at each one of her locations. We have nailed that. Like, they just do it now. It's awesome.
Okay, so step one, want to improve the online reputation. There's a lot of detail into that. Have you guys gotten into video reviews yet?
Yeah.
Oh, they have an ungodly amount of them. It's ridiculous.
They're on the website.
Yeah, if you go to the testimonials page on the extensionist.com, the extensionist918.com,
got it.
You'll find them.
Now, when people go to the website, then you want to create some sort of a no-brainer, some sort of a hot deal, so that way people that don't know who you are don't hesitate to do business with you. Now, again, you guys have, in my opinion, you're branded as one of the top, AKA premier brands in Oklahoma right now for what you do. What's the no-brainer offer that you now offer first-time customers?
So we've just been doing a discounted classic full set, but Sean and I were just talking about doing a $1 full set and trying that.
So $1 for a full set, maybe.
Yeah.
You're working. Okay.
Yeah, I've always been afraid to do that, but I think we're gonna.
Well, and two, we've got the memberships going now too. You didn't have a membership model. Now we have membership packages we've developed that make a little more sense to get somebody in for $1, because just like with Elephant in the Room, Clay, if you can convert the majority of them to a membership, it makes a lot of sense to give away $25 or $40 on the first service.
Right.
And for people other that don't know, Elephant in the Room is a haircut chain that I own and founded. But again, regardless of whether you have a business that's a eyelash extension business or a haircut business or a dog training company or a home building company, the step one we got to do is we got to improve that online reputation. Now, step two, we got to get those video reviews. Step three, we got to enhance the website. Step four, we got to enhance a no-brainer, come with a no-brainer that gets people excited and offer that's so hot people will not reject you. And then step five, if we can make a membership model for certain services, you can do that. Has a membership model helped you with the sustainability of your finances?
So far, no, just
Not yet.
because I feel like we weren't offering a good enough no-brainer.
It's only been a couple of months.
So
been
it's
trying
kind of
to
a new
nail this.
thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a newer thing.
Yeah.
Now, the hiring and process. Next thing is you want to create a hiring process. Now, one of the things that's tough about your business or my business or any company out there, it's finding good people. Now, if you have a system in place to find good people, then it's not so challenging. Have you guys started the group interview
Yeah.
process? How's that going?
It's good.
Has it helped you?
It's a lot of fun,
Has it?
actually. Yeah.
Okay.
We went from in 2019, you had 14 employees,
14.
and now you have 40.
Wow. Okay. So you went from 14 employees. Okay. From 14 employees to 40 employees. Now, people who work with me, it's very interesting. I was just talking to a guy literally probably 39 minutes ago. I mean, who I've worked with for years. And the one thing that he mentioned to me, it's interesting. He goes, Clay, I've worked with you now for almost a decade. And he's like, my business is now 10 times what it was 10 years ago. And he's like, it's just a consistent application of effort. I just go down that boom book, I follow it, and every week we just get 2%. And he's like, I try to explain that to people, and they don't often get that it's not like a one big idea. All these things are big ideas, but it's the implementation. Can you talk about what it's like working with our team and Sean on a weekly basis now since 2019?
Well, I feel like talking to him every week, I have someone who can help me with ideas and stay on my ass about things.
Yeah.
And like you said, the consistency. So that's, I feel like, the biggest thing that Sean helps me with.
Just the consistency.
Right. And the tracking. because before I didn't do any kind of tracking at all, and that's been probably the biggest thing for
Now,
me.
tracking, what it does is it takes the feelings out of things. Now, let me just give you an
Yeah.
example. This is a kind of a funny thing. One of these clients I've worked with for years, was talking to him on Monday, and it's really funny because on the tracking sheet it shows how many outbound calls did you make. How many appointments did you set? So again, in his particular business, it's a different industry, but it's how many calls did you make? How many appointments did you set? How many leads did you get? We just try how many Google reviews did you get? How many dollars a week did you spend on your Facebook ads? And we just track every week. And that tracking allows us to see obvious patterns. So we get to the part where the calls, it shows the number of calls being made. And I know his caller. Like I know the caller because I've been around the guy. And the owner brought the caller to the meeting. And so I'm going, so you made that many calls? Because I don't think you did. And he's like, no, I didn't do it. So sometimes people, even with a tracking sheet, they'll put in information that's kind of bogus.
Yeah.
Has the tracking sheet, I'm not looking for specific names, but has it allowed you, Kendra, to expose bogusness in your business, like gaps?
Yeah,
Yeah?
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Someone that was just
Is there any
copy and pasting.
Really?
She does the appointments booked weekly part.
Yeah.
And
She tracks a
else
lot
does
of
she
the
do?
lead sources. She tracks, she's also tracking whether or not the people are in fact getting the reviews to put onto the sheet, which we can go and verify ourselves. But
Right.
still, this person was supposed to be supplying. We just caught this in the last week or two,
Yeah.
because when you delegate a lot of stuff, you got to follow up on it
Right.
regularly. And
Mhm.
this person went 2 weeks or so just copy and pasting the same amount of leads that
Wow.
we got. So
Now,
Yeah.
now installing a quality control loop. I'm not sure if we're there yet in the system, but for the elephant in the room, as an example, it's a haircut chain, and we have mystery shoppers that we pay to come in or they get a free haircut to come in and get a haircut. And then what we do is we try to get feedback from them, and they have a checklist that's very simple that they go over. But it's sights, sounds, smells, experiences, just so that we know. And then they text me how it's going. Well, it's interesting because when you have mystery shoppers, you pick up on things you wouldn't pick up on. So like recently, this past week, we found out that there were smudges on one of the windows that had been, not addressed since the last mystery shopper. Or we'll find out we have, 5 stores. So we found out that the bathrooms at one of the stores were dirty. Or have you guys started putting in a mystery shopper yet? Has that started yet? No. Okay. So we're still kind of now, where do you right now, how many locations do you have open now?
5.
Okay. So now as you're scaling, the systems, that's kind of the next process, the systems and the checklists.
Yeah.
How are you doing on that process, Kendra? How are you on implementing the building scripts and checklists for everything?
We've made a lot of scripts within the past couple of months,
Okay.
Just for every little thing, mainly on the phone.
So where do you see the vision going now? Because how many locations do you have? 5?
5.
Where do you see the vision go? What's the plan? Are you looking to license now? Are you looking to franchise? What do you see as the future?
I would like to license.
License it. Okay.
Yeah, so no more stores that I open.
yeah, there's still room. We can fit about 14 more stylists in the space that we have, which will bring in a minimum of $500,000 more just with the space that we have. But it's important to mention that we are maintaining a very healthy 20% profit margin in this business as well.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of times people forget that part. You got to get the accounting done. And I kind of view this as part of the tracking process. But when you start tracking and you start going, well, this is how much money came in, and this is how much money went out, and you go, wow, you discover real quick, wow, there's maybe not enough there.
Yeah.
Tracking, did you end up having to maybe raise prices or cutting expenses, or did that help you kind of seeing where the income in and the expenses were going?
I think for me, it was a lot of the just not knowing, like being a business owner and waking up every day and not knowing if you're going to have enough money for payroll or if you're going to have enough money to pay the bills. And so doing that just gave me the mental picture, the physical manifestation of how we're actually doing. And that was not as bad as I thought.
Now, everybody's got their own flow, so what I do with my businesses is, I know how big I want to get. I'm very happy with where we're at. So it's good. And people all the time, they go to Thrive Time Show and they'll schedule a consultation. And I just talked to a guy today and he was like, I don't understand why you have 160 clients. Why not take on 400? And I just know, because our business is very involved. Like every business owner we work with, it's like, we have to really get to know you. Where the haircut business, I don't have that. It's like, I don't know most of the customers and we scale it out. But you ultimately, no matter what kind of business you're in, if you're in a high touch business, like a dentist or a cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Whitlock, one of my clients, it's very high touch. we eventually have to get to a place and space where we figure out our ideal schedule, a schedule that works for our family, and one that's kind of, where are you happy currently with your schedule? Have you optimized it? I'm not saying it has to be check all the boxes that the world approves, but I mean, do you like your schedule now?
That was also another thing that I started doing because of Sean, was my calendar. And I sucked at it for a long time, but now
she has every minute of her day blocked out every day.
And so you feel good about where you're headed now?
Yeah, I do. I pretty much don't have to do anything with this business anymore. So I just opened a Daylight Donuts. So
Really?
I've been spending time doing that.
Last Monday.
Bam.
Yeah.
Awesome. This was a little crazy.
Yeah, just because the person that was supposed to work and open
bailed.
So I've been having to do it.
Yeah. Now for entrepreneur, if you're out there today and you are, let me just pull this up real quick here. If you're out there today and you're in the Northeast Oklahoma, Tulsa area, one, you can visit the business here, the extensionist918.com. You can check it out. You can learn more about it. I encourage you to do so. Also, we have workshops that we do, and the workshops, why I like the workshops is that we're able to work in kind of a shop-like environment on somebody's businesses, on their business for a window of time. So people will come to the workshop. We start at 7, we go till 3, and they'll go, I learned more in a day than I've learned in years. And we hear that all the time. How would you describe the actual business workshop experience?
It's pretty much everything that's in coaching, just like packed in 2 days.
Got it. And so is that helpful for you? Is that kind of a reinforcement thing for you?
Yeah. I sometimes when I'm getting up super early and I'm like, why am I going? I already go to coaching. But every time that I go, it like gets me going again.
By the way, I have a question for you. And I'm not dogging any of our attendees, but we have one guy who attended the past workshop, and he is brand new to business.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked a ton of questions that I would have asked when I was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it was great to hear, because I'm like, haha, I remember when I had those questions. But it almost reaffirms what you've learned.
Mm-hmm.
Do you learn stuff from other people that have questions?
Yeah.
Like, do you kind of learn stuff from their questions?
Yeah.
So Sean, people like Kendra are not a dime a dozen. I really do believe, we look for diligent doers to help people that show up, people that knock out the homework, people that are not super high emotional. It doesn't mean you can't have emotions. It doesn't mean you can't be excited, but people that can just knock it out. What makes Kendra a great client to work with, just for anybody out there that's thinking about reaching out to us?
She is just very stoic in that if something is going wrong, or is just like, it doesn't matter if it's a small thing or a large thing, she comes in very even keel and goes, we got to fix this thing. And it's just a very unemotional process. She's also very realistic about timelines.
Yeah.
She blocks her action items into her calendar, which is a big deal. She actually does that. So she gets stuff done. And she's also a client that, she can operate very consistently with this business and build another business and still not be emotional and freaked out. So it's very rare. And that's what we would look for in a great client, because you never know in business, like what emotional turmoil is headed your way. It's more about your mindset towards when things come up. And she's really mastered that.
Now, Kendra, according to Inc. Magazine, I'm going to pull this up for a second. Inc. Magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail. And it blows my mind, but I talked to a guy at the last conference, and he was like, I love the idea of coaching. But the thing is, he said, Clay, I've tried other coaching programs in the past, and the issue is I'm not going to meet with somebody every week at the same time. That's just not, I'm not a guy who uses a to-do list. Okay. And I'm not a big calendar guy. And that's the problem with other coaching programs. And I kind of like your program, because I think I go, no, that's not us. That would not be a good fit. So if you were out there telling people who would be a good fit to become a client, because our clients grow by default, 96% of businesses fail according to Inc. Magazine. So by default, we know most businesses fail, but we don't want to take on every single client. Who would be a good fit for us and who wouldn't, kind of from an outsider's perspective?
Someone who knows that they have to put in the work to do it, because that's what it takes. I feel like a big reason that 96% is because they don't do anything to grow or take responsibility, because it is your responsibility and no one else's.
I love it. And again, I'm not going to get into your personal life, but I do want to point out something. Everybody likes to say that I can't become successful because I have this going on in my life.
Right.
And I see people that are newly married, They say, I want to grow my business, but I just got married, just had a kid. I see people that, but one of our clients this year, her husband passed away and she had her best year of all time. And I asked her why. And she said, because we worked really hard as a couple to build the business. And when he passed, I recognized that, it didn't help to pout about it. I was just going to focus on growing the business to kind of honor what we had built together. I think of another client that recently they're growing their business and a weather situation attacked their business in a way that, if you live on the coasts, weather can hit you. And their business was ravaged years ago by disastrous hurricane weather. And they went on to have their best year of all time. And I'm talking to the owner and he's going, man, now the challenge for him with his particular business is staffing because more and more people are harder to find to work in his particular industry. But again, we can all make excuses or we can all step up and make it happen. So I encourage everybody out there, if you're looking to grow your company, you can go to thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com, and you can click on the little consulting button here. Let me see here. You can schedule a free 13-point assessment. Let me go there right now. Feeling the flow, working it, going to Thrive Time Show. If I spell it right, it helps. Go in here. Awesome. And I click here, boom. And you can schedule a free 13-point consultation with myself. And I will teach you all the systems that I have in place to help you grow your company. Or if you're looking for eyelash extensions, and I know that I'm not, but if you are, you can go to theextensionist918.com. Kendra, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care. Now, Sean, a lot of people reach out. They go to thrivetimeshow.com and they always ask me, they say, Clay, what do you do? And so I've tried to explain it in as succinct of a way as possible. But first thing we do, Sean, a lot of people go to thrivetimeshow.com or I'll see people at a tour. I'll see them at an event. Yeah. People will reach out to us and they'll say, what exactly do you guys do? And if I had to explain it to you succinctly, we essentially grow businesses 7 times faster than the average business that doesn't fail. Although Inc. magazine does show that 96% of businesses fail by default. So if you go to Inc. magazine, you see that 96% of businesses fail by default. So I guess one benefit is our clients don't fail. But the next thing they do is they grow 7 times faster. So what we do here is we help you reduce the working hours that you're working and decrease your costs while increasing your sales and your profitability. And then since 2006, we've got a team now that does graphic design, photography, branding, print media, photography, videography, digital marketing, systems creation, public speaking, coaching, booking, workflow mapping, search engine enhancement, PR, marketing. We do a lot of PR, a lot of monetizing. We help people to grow their business, their podcast, their dentistry, their law firm. But what we do is we document those success stories over here at thrivetimeshow.com. If you click on the testimonials, and since 2006, I have over 2,000 success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to become the next success story, what you have to do is you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click right here on growth consulting and you schedule a free 13-point assessment. And that free 13-point assessment, what that does is that schedules you a time to meet with me so that you and I can go over where you're at versus where you want to be. And then if you want to work with us, I charge $1,700 a month. It's a flat rate of $1,700 per month to help you grow your company. And again, folks, if you want to learn more about that, we've got the in-person workshops, we've got the one-on-one coaching. Sean, you've been, how long have you worked here as a consultant? How long have you worked here?
Doing consulting, it was about 18 months after I came on board. So it's coming up on 5 years.
5 years. And just think of a few clients off the top of your head that have had massive growth. I mean, I think about Levi Gables.
Oh yeah. He's working on company number 3 and 4 right now.
What's his company called?
His original company came to us called GEI-USA.com.
GEI-USA.com. That's a client you've worked with, has had tremendous growth. We just did an interview with Kendra. The attorney James. We worked with him. Who else can you think of?
Nick Holman. We grew his business by 5-fold and we decreased.
That's a cabinet company.
Yeah, the cabinet guy.
Yeah. So again, if you're out there and you're saying, I need to see the success, I need to see the documentation, I need to see the proven plan, all you got to do right now is go to thrivetimeshow.com. thrivetimeshow.com, and you click on testimonials, and bam, you can see what we do. My name's Clay Clark. I'm the former US SBA Entrepreneur of the Year. I built all the systems, built all the processes, and I've been, since 2006, coaching clients. And along the way, I've started to discover great people like Clay Stairs or Sean Lohman or Andrew or different members of our team. And we teach them the processes so that they can help you grow your business for less money than it would cost you to hire one minimum wage employee. If you hired one minimum wage employee out there full-time, it's going to cost you about $2,000 a month after taxes, insurance, et cetera.
It turns out we're less.
Turns out this just in. So
Yeah.
schedule that consultation today by going to thrivetimeshow.com. Click on the business consulting button right there. Click on the red button that says schedule your free 13-point assessment with me. And you can schedule that today. Sean, I appreciate you. And I want to remind everybody out there, Sean, you smell terrific.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time, not having a professional do it. It has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely... It's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to bang my head into a wall, and she's banging her head into the chair in front of her. It's good information, but we're oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. It's the information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get